Welcome back to Ebony Ladies in the DR. I'm your host, Tammy. Meet my co-host.
I'm Bridget.
I'm Sheila.
And I'm Shan.
We are so excited to have you back for another episode. Remember, you can catch our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. right here on YouTube. So today we're going to actually be addressing a viewer question. By the way, we love your questions, so keep them coming. We'll be happy to answer them for you on the air. So we had a viewer who asked about moving here with children. Now, none of us have kids, so, but we're going to give y'all some advice because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know people who have kids.
And we know people who have kids.
Who moved here with kids.
Yeah, and actually, as I'm thinking about staying here in the future and starting my life here, we may have kids here.
Oh,
so
yeah.
These are things that we have to think about. So today, that's what the discussion is going to be about. So ladies, what would be your first piece of advice for somebody moving here with children?
My advice would be to move here in the summer when, there's not time for school, so that the kids can get used to the environment, get used to the culture, just a few little things. And that way, when they do start school, they can go to school with friends. Don't move your kid in the middle of a school year. Wait until the summer so they can feel like, they'll have friends and they'll know a little bit about the country before they move. So everybody said that's the best thing to do, is to move in, off school season.
Perfect.
I think it would be good to keep your child involved in, well, of course, depending on their age, keep your child involved in the moving process, because especially bringing them down here to see what it's like to live in another country. And some children will love it, they'll look at it as an adventure,
right?
And then some of, they may not. But I think letting your child know what's going on and letting them physically see it is a great start.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's really important that you get your children immersed in some sort of language program. Start them now if they're not already started on learning some Spanish. That's going to be super important. If you're looking, there's a lot of international schools and private schools here that are really good, but they have a bilingual curriculum.
Yep.
So you definitely want to start now, getting your kids at least started on some Duolingo. That's an app,
right?
Get them going.
To learn the basics.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to learn Spanish,
and it's interactive.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say, as far as just do your research. Do your research and understand that over here, the public school system isn't necessarily the best. So most expats are actually going to be putting their kids into private school. And like Shan said, because some of them are bilingual. So you want to do your research early so that you know that those are the extra fees you may have to pay.
Yes, because you pay for those.
You pay for those. $500 to $600. I've even heard
as much as $800
$800,
per child.
per child.
Month. Yeah. This is more than your mortgage is going to be, or more than your rent's going to, as much as your rent's going to be in a nice area.
Yes.
So that's an expense.
So it's very expensive if you want your child to go to a good school. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Ladies?
Yeah, but what I did learn is that homeschooling is legal here. A lot of expats are homeschooling and they're registering with the program in their country, and so they're doing it all online. So don't feel like your child can't get a good education if you're not able to afford the private schools, because then you can homeschool, and there are a lot of homeschool tutors here.
So they're registered in their home countries
home country for the homeschooling program. But
I think that's really important.
It's very important. Yeah, it's very important. And then the Spanish curriculum is included, so they're learning Spanish. And a lot of people are hiring private tutors to do their homeschooling for them, so that way the kids can hear the native tongue to hear Spanish. Yeah.
What
I think it's interesting.
Parents also need to do, and this can go for parents or non-parents, but you guys need to be interacting in these groups. There's all these different forums. Anything you could think of needing to know, you're gonna get different opinions on it, but the deal is that you have resources to go to, people who are doing it, people on the ground floor that can guide you in the right direction. So you just have to know how to utilize the resources that are available to you, and there are several. So I know I have a really great friend, and she did travel here with her son. And He's like 12 years old. He's thriving here.
Wow.
She does have him in a private school, but he is thriving here and loves it, you know. And I think she expressed at first that it was kind of like not so exciting for him. But now, you know, you would never know. You would never know.
Oh,
He was probably not wanting to leave his friends
and things like that.
And his familiar surroundings and things that
And I will say, too, one thing, this is just my experience of being here in the Dominican Republic, and especially when I go to places that's more traditionally Dominican, not so much the tourist areas. But you see children just running around and playing, and they are just so happy. Like you don't see a lot of toys and things that you buy.
Video games,
No,
like that.
You just see kids interacting together. And like I went to a baby shower and it was like 10 o'clock at night. And there were just kids running up and down the street, and I was like, "Where are their parents? Oh my god!" And then I realized because nobody's worried here. They're not worried about the kids because they're not afraid.
It is different.
It's different. So I think a lot of people would say in America would probably say, "I would never move to another country with my child," but your child might actually be safer in another country.
Definitely.
So,
and I noticed in the barrios that they're still like how it used to be back in the day. I don't know how far back in the day for you all, but back in the day where neighbors watched out for each other's children. So there was nothing, and if you were doing something you weren't supposed to do, they would say, "Johnny, don't do that." And they didn't have to worry about your mother or father coming in. That's a whole nother story.
And you got to tell our viewers what the barrios are.
Barrios are neighborhoods. That's what it is. Barrios, neighborhoods, cities. So the times that I went to La Romana to visit a family that I know that they have small kids, and all the kids in the neighborhood, they'll just get if somebody has a ball, they'll everybody will figure out a game. They play tag.
That's the best ball ever.
That's what I'm saying. They play tag and just all kind of things, and even just. Well, because baseball is big here. They'll use a stick, and a rock. And I think that's probably why Dominican men can hit so good, because they've been aiming at those rocks that are that small. So if you have a baseball, but it's just so amazing how creative children here are.
And they're not head down in tablets and video games. It's a totally different.
Outside.
They're outside playing.
They're at the
enjoying
beach,
youth,
enjoying life.
I know there's this whole culture right now in America around like, oh, don't force your kids to hug an adult if they don't want to, that kind of thing. And that's just one of the things that are different here. Like when I go home to Barahona, I call it my home now. But when I go to Barahona, other parts of the island, like the kids just run up to you and give you a hug.
It's so awesome.
It's just like all that stuff that we have to worry about in the U.S. is almost like it's not here.
The innocence of children is still here and very apparent. You see it, and I love that. And I love that.
And then moving. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick, one of the things that brought me here was actually seeing the kids. When I went on an excursion, I remember being on the tour bus and riding down this remote road, didn't know where we were, but I just remember seeing these kids running down the road. Maybe some of them didn't even have shoes on, but I remember them playing with oil cans. And I'm telling you, that oil can was better than any video game. They were having the best time, and I just remember saying to myself, there's something missing. Like there is something not right about this life that I'm living, where I have all these material things. Anyway, that's another episode, but I just remember seeing the kids and their innocence and how beautiful it was, and it really made an impact on me wanting to move here. Now,
I know some of the legal things that the parents who are the kids that are moved here, they said to be sure with the dental records and medical records that they're within 3 months, dated within 3 months, and they have to be notarized, which is something I thought was interesting, to have your medical records notarized, and consent from the other parent. If they're coming here as a single parent, you have to have that paperwork on you at all times, because they don't want to feel like you have kidnapped your own child or in here in the country without the legal consent. So that's make sure that's something that they thought about too.
Did you want to mention something, Sheila?
Y'all know if I don't mention it when it comes to mine, that is gone. So I remember it 5 minutes from now.
I'll say one other thing too that I noticed very, very quickly once I got here I noticed like I would see school buses.
That's what
When
I
I
was
look
talking
at
about.
school buses, but they're
isn't a
workers. They're
school
like
bus
construction workers, and I'm like,
Right.
well, where are the kids, and why are they not on these school buses? So it's interesting. You don't see kids on school buses because there's no bus
There's
system.
no bus
But you know, it's
that
funny
is-
you should say that though, because I asked Shannon yesterday, because in her neighborhood, when I was at her Airbnb, school was still in. So, or was it? Yeah, school was still in, and there was a school bus that came every morning to pick the kids
Really?
up and drop them off in the evening. But Shannon said that she believes that that's from the school.
Yeah,
Not,
private.
not
the
a
system.
school
It's not a
system.
public.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a- no
They
public
don't
bus
do
system.
that. And then what? With those buses that you're seeing, they do look like our American school buses because they are. They are our
Right.
imported
Yeah.
buses.
Buses.
And you'll
They're
see
old
sometimes
buses.
it'll say Boston City.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh,
it's,
I sure did.
Yeah,
it'll
it's all
say-
English. And you're like,
because they're all imported from someplace in the United
to
States
transport
to
the
transport the
workers.
workers, whether that be employees of the hotels or the construction workers.
Right.
Usually, I'm seeing a bunch of the resort workers
Yeah.
on them.
Resort
Yeah.
workers.
Yeah.
And the
And then the private schools, they do offer some sort of bus service
Right.
because I'll see the international
National
school
school.
name on the side of it. Yeah, but those are not usually the yellow school buses that
Yeah.
we're used to seeing. They have their own little.
yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
that's another thing to think about, getting your children back and forth
Right.
to school and
Yeah.
extracurricular activities.
Yes.
You know, if there
So,
are any.
things
We all
like
know
that.
that baseball is down here, but what else?
What else are you gonna have?
They
to
love
Yeah,
do?
basketball's not big here.
Basketball's not.
It's not
Paddleboard
big here.
is huge here, so they get them in
Soccer.
the paddle academy.
Yep.
You know, they offer those classes, and a lot of kids take dance here. So don't worry about your girls in their dance classes. They can definitely come and do that.
Yes.
But one thing I did want to say is there are no like public parks or playgrounds.
Yeah.
So in this area, because we were like looking for, there's no dog park, but we were looking for a public park where kids, you know, go and hang out, like a playground, swing sets, and there's one on our property, a swing. I think I saw, but there's no public parks or playgrounds for kids. So if your kid's one of those kids that, you know, you're in the routine of taking them to the park, or I think the beach is their park, which is a
Yeah.
good trade-off, but there's no public parks.
Yeah.
You know,
I've seen
until
them
you
in other
mentioned that
places
the
on the
other-
island,
Oh, sorry.
but not here. No.
Before you mentioned that the other day to us about the public, I hadn't really thought about it, and then
I
it
did.
was like, oh yeah, that's right, because we're always here where we're on
Well,
a
like,
golf
this is a
course
greenery.
and we see
Right, like,
greenery,
this is a park
or like
to us.
in your neighborhood where there's
The beach.
the grass
Has the grass
around
and
and stuff, but outside of the gated communities, you don't find a
No
lot of
parks or
grass, and
playgrounds.
any park looks like it's not look like it is. It is. It's concrete.
Yeah.
So
Not a lot of
I've
parks.
I've seen just not in this area, but
Oh,
in
okay.
other parts in the island,
Island?
where I
Okay.
think where more actual Dominicans live, I've seen
Parks
like,
and
parks and
playgrounds.
kids playing and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like
Oh,
that.
okay, that's
yeah, so
great.
I think
That's
this
great.
area
Yeah.
plays a big part into what we're seeing. So there's a lot of things you have to consider if you are going to come here with children. And so the biggest thing is we want you to do to do your research. So do your research, join some of the expat forums. They'll give you good advice. I know the other thing that people constantly ask, because some of you guys moved here with animals and pets.
Lived with the
What is it
dog.
like moving here with a pet? Like, what did you have to think about?
I think probably I go through the same thing that somebody went through with moving with their kids, because I'm thinking about, you know, they have to look at the whole school thing, but I wanted to be in an environment where it was going to be dog friendly, where, you know, we picked our house based on having a yard space, because we have like land that we own now around ours, so she has, you know, a yard and all of that, and so it was a lot involved, because my checklist included traveling with her. You know, we traveled in the winter, and it was the craziest. I have to tell y'all this because our dog had never seen snow. So our connecting flight here in January when we got here was in Chicago. So we picked a little bit longer layover so that we could take her out and get back through through airport security and all that. So I took her outside, and it was snow outside in Chicago. She did not use the bathroom. She tried to eat the snow. She rolled over in the snow. First she was scared of it,
Yeah.
you know, and then she played the whole time. But just moving here with that was just part of, because we had to bring her on the plane and all that stuff. So you have to think about when is it going to be a good time. I tell people, if you're not moving here for retirement, same thing. You want to move here when you don't have to go to work in a day or a week, or you know that you're gonna have time to be there with the dog, so the dog will know like this is home. This is home
so
now.
they can get acclimated.
Right. So they, because we, you know, Bella had her food container and we didn't get it until the container came, so she felt like, okay, we're on vacation, we're gonna go home soon. But once the container came and her bed was there and her food container dish with her name was on it, then she was like, we could see a change in her, that, oh, this is like, she wanted to say, oh, I'm at home, this is our new house. You know what I mean? You have to know Bella, she has a personality that you can really tell with things with her. And go ahead, Sharon. I'm sorry.
So when I moved here, I did also move with my 16-year-old Shih Tzu, which was, you know, Jazz was a really small dog, so I wasn't worried so much for space, because also Jazz was an indoors dog, so I wasn't concerned about much outdoor space when I was looking for a home and everything for us. So I think that with Jasper, the main thing that I was concerned about was because he's a long-haired dog, and this DR heat.
Right.
That was, I mean, we two moved in like the winter time, but that, I think the summer was really kind of hard on him. So, because, you know, Shih Tzus are long hair. Even though we would try to keep, I made it a point to keep him short-haired when, you know, here, because that was just too much heat for him. So I think, you know, just that's something to consider when moving with your dog. To consider this heat is no joke here.
It is.
And it will be an adjustment for your pet. The other thing that I was hearing a lot when I was moving here was like, animals get poisoned. There's a big poison thing going on here with animals.
Now here, do you find that to be a rumor? Because like on every corner, there are dogs everywhere.
I don't think it's a rumor. No, I know people personally who
think that's happening.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know that it's intentionally for dogs, but I think that there's something that is used that they get into. And
so do you think other people in the neighborhoods are trying to do it, or do you think the
stories that I've read,
they don't have animal control obviously, but like city officials, you know, like public workers,
I think it's
like that.
Vagrants or something, you know. I think it's that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you know, people are just mean like that. You know, some people are just mean. But I never had an issue with it. Thank God we didn't have that issue. But you know, there's a lot of areas that people are just, they don't want the dogs around, because there are a lot of stray animals here. There are a lot of stray animals here. So anybody who, maybe if you don't have a dog and you want to come have a dog here, you definitely can adopt dogs. That's a good opportunity.
Animals, you know. The Dominican people are not scared of the stray animals, but they're scared of Bella, because Bella's a little bit bigger dog. I guess she's 55 pounds, but they're like they're terrified of her until they get to know her, which is really crazy.
And I have a question for the two of you though. You're talking about bringing your pet here, but what process did you have to go through to bring your pet? I mean, because I know there's documents and airline specifications.
With Bella, she can fly. She's a trained service animal, so we just have to show her service animal papers. She's very well behaved, so we have no issues with that. So flying with the service animal, there's no charge for
on
the
plane.
She flies in cabin with us.
In cabin with you guys?
Yes, right at my foot. So no problem there. We'd have to have the rabies vaccination. In the U.S., they do 3 years, but to travel into the Dominican Republic, they require that she be vaccinated within 1 year. So she has to have the 1 year certificate to come here. And then to come into the country, she had to have the USDA certificate. So you had to go to your state, you have to contact your state capital, get the USDA certificate, have it stamped with their seal, with the state seal, to bring into the country. Now let me tell you this, that was work. Because it was Austin, and it has to be within 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So we were leaving Texas, you know, with going to Memphis, and we were in Memphis for 3 weeks. So we had like a week window to get here with that certificate, or we'd have to go to Nashville to another state capital to start all over with that. To get here, and they asked for it and all he looked at was the rabies certificate, and asked for his $10 because it's $10 to bring the dog into the country. Yeah. But I'm sweating. I'm like so nervous. You know, like, oh, we got to make it, or else I got to give Bella another certificate. And so, I mean, they require it, but I think if you have the 1-year rabies certificate and the $10, I don't think you're gonna have any problem unless you're trying to bring in. They don't even have a dangerous dog list here. Like, it's the airline that won't allow, some airlines that won't allow the pit bull or the Rottweilers.
I was gonna say I was like so over prepared. I had like a stack of papers like this big, Jasper's name written all over it, and I was just, I just didn't want any issues at all.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing was that USDA was just trying to make sure that was current within the 30 days, and then the other thing was the airline. So you guys really need to research which airline you're doing, because each airline is different. They have different requirements.
Right.
Also, your pet has to buy a seat. There's a ticket for your pet. I mean, so there's a cost for your pet. So also research how much it costs for your dog to travel with you, because you don't think about that thing. But that was my experience as well. It was just like, we got to get it done. So
and just a couple of things to note. The veterinarians here are amazing. They're very well trained. The clinics are clean. We actually met a veterinarian because we were out with Bella on our bikes, and he approached us, gave us his card. He actually came to the house, did her full exam. Bella loved him, and she was more relaxed and more comfortable because he didn't have on the white doctor jacket, which she hates. He had on scrubs, and so she's not afraid of the gray scrubs. So he did
and she's in her own environment.
And she's in her own environment with mommy and daddy sitting on the floor with her. So it was excellent. And then the cost for the full exam here, it was $24, and he came to the house. And then normally at our vet in Houston for her full checkup exam, which lasts like 6 months, we pay $185. Okay. So $185 versus $24.
Woo!
And he came to the house, saved us time. And the medications are cheaper here. Wow. So the heart guard. So somebody's thinking about moving with their dog and can't, decide. I hope that's not an issue of deciding, because I'm thinking, that's your pet family, so you're going to bring them with you. Yeah. But those, you'll be fine bringing your pet to the DR. And Bella loves it. She loves the ocean. She loves the swimming pool. She loves running on the golf course. And she has 1 million dog friends. She's a popular little girl.
Yay! Well, with that being said, we thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, we are here every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when all of our episodes drop. We'll see you on the next episode. And remember, you can create the life of your dreams. You just have to do a little bit of research and figure out how to do it.
That's right.
Yes. Adios. We are the Ebony Ladies in the DR, and we're saying adios for now.
Adios for now.